to Friday Team Call. Let's get this kicked off. Hope everybody is having a great morning so far. Good to see all your smiling faces. All right, let's hit some leaderboards. Get my paper shuffled properly here. All right, for the week, hey, we had a new rider this week, guys. So big round of applause for Mr. Jordan Schmidt, who had one application for $1,935. Brand new rider, direct to Terry Myers and the Dinwiddie Agency. That is awesome. Love to see new riders. And we say if you can write one, you can write two. If you can write two, you get yourself a business started. So keep up the great work, Jordan. Let's hit top 10 for this morning so far. And again, this is through the week. For those of you who are brand new, we stop counting apps for the week on midnight Eastern of the week on Friday. And so there's still time to get business turned in, and there always is business turned in. Friday's a great day to go out and meet with folks or get appointments set, jump online with them. So, but for what we have on the book so far, number 10, Miss Stella Dinwiddie, one application, $1,165, direct to myself. Mr. Lionel Anderson, one application, $1,577, direct to John Paul Vetter. Jordan Schmidt came in at number 8 with that application for $1,935, direct to Terry. Eva Bowman, one application, $2,171, direct to Stella Dinwiddie. Terry Myers, 5 applications, $2,403, direct to Stella Dinwiddie. Natalie Herman had 3 applications, $3,321, direct to Eric Sullivan. And Mr. Sullivan himself, Eric Sullivan, one application, $3,586, direct to John Paul Vetter. Number 3, Mr. Andy McKinley, 6 applications, $6,312, direct to myself. Number 2, Mr. John Paul Vetter, 5 applications, $7,653. And the number 1, by a long shot, Miss Jenny Gray, 11 applications, guys. App count leader, 11 applications, and APV leader, $12,182, direct to Mr. John Paul Vetter. That is a fantastic week. Hats off to you, Miss Jenny, and everybody else who went out and helped families this week. We had 15 riders on the week, 43 total applications. So that's 43 families served, guys. And that's the important part about these leaderboards. It's awesome to see you all going out and growing a business, but helping those families, that's at the heart of it. So last week, again, we have turn in that ends at midnight. Of course, our call 10 o'clock Central where I am, and wherever you're at, your time zone. So that means there's still quite a bit of time to turn business in. So last week, Friday, Donna Bates went out, wrote an application for $1,573 after turn in. So congratulations, Donna, for going out and helping families on a Friday afternoon. So far, month to date on the leaderboards. We do this, this is a new little leaderboard we're doing here just so we can kind of see where everybody's tracking for the month. And I know the month of March has been a little bit of a challenge for several here, and that's just part of the business. You know, there's times where whether it be weather, whether it be, you know, just the aligning of the stars or what, but things happen. So but keep plugging, guys, and you know, we're having a decent month, probably not a record month for us, but we're still putting up some great numbers. Let's recognize the top 10 so far for the month. Natalie Herman had 8 applications, $4,786, direct to Eric Sullivan. Lionel Anderson so far for the month, 5 applications, $4,935, direct to John Paul. Eric Sullivan, 3 applications, $5,416, direct to John Paul. Terry Myers, 13 applications, love that app count, 13 applications, $5,425, direct to Stella. Miss Stella herself, 11 applications, $8,513, direct to myself. Mr. Spencer Cushion, 7 applications, $8,568, direct to myself. Ellis Hubbard, 4 applications, $9,302, direct to John Paul. Andy McKinley is in the number 3 spot so far for the month, 12 applications, $10,163, direct to myself. John Paul better on the month so far, 15 applications, 24,449. Director myself and Miss Jenny Gray is leading the pack, 25 applications. They're again leading on that count, guys. You can't go wrong writing a bunch of applications, and that usually comes out in the APV. So $26,386 so far for the month. And again, that is month to date. So keep in mind, guys, we still have another week left, I believe, on turn in, if I'm remembering my calendar correctly. However, let's talk about this because whether you guys knew it or not, we've got some things coming up next week. But before we get to that, I want to make sure that our agency owners have a chance to address their teams and any announcements that they may have coming up. So, John Paul, Stella, anything you need to highlight for your teams?
I have something really.
Oh, no, go ahead, Stella.
Ladies first. Stella gets to go.
I'll be really quick. I just really wanted to celebrate Miss Sydney Lee. She's not showing up on our leaderboards yet, but for the month she has 7 applications for 6,371. And I just want to say how thankful and grateful and what an amazing place this is at Symmetry Financial Group. Last night, you guys, I just want to say real quick, I had the honor of, they celebrate you like they don't stop, it seems like, for a month long when you become an agency owner. And so we had this, what that you've heard them calling, you've heard them talk about hobnobbing with the founders. So I was on a 2-hour Zoom call with Brandon and Casey and their beautiful wives and, a couple of other agency owners that just made it. And it was so much fun. Like they sent me a big giant box of, this beautiful block to cut on, cutting block, and cheese and crackers and popcorn and treats and a bottle of wine. And I mean, like every day, it seems like almost I've gotten something from them, from Marshall Whalen, from Jacob Pogue. It's just amazing. So I just want to share what really, if you're building right now, there's so much more coming ahead of you, so much to look forward to. It's just like they do just such an amazing job of celebrating you. So I just wanted to share that, and thank you so much. And and one last thing. Yeah, this week is not over. So for those of you that feel like, that maybe you didn't make happen what you wanted to happen this week, you have all day long today until midnight. So that's it.
Awesome. And thanks again, Chris. And a couple of things for my team specifically. First of all, while everybody's out there representing, their respective teams and whatever else may be going on and stuff like that, I'm representing Corvette Racing, and IMSA tomorrow is 12 hours of Sebring race. Corvette's going to lay the wood to Ferrari, Lamborghini, Porsche, and all the other the comers that show up tomorrow. So 12 hours of Sebring, the dominant force that Corvette Racing is. So, but I just wanted to call out on the numbers for last week specifically. We missed Mr. Ellis Hubbard after we had the meeting on Friday, submitted an application for $5,071.20 on Friday in one application. And the other piece of that I mentioned to my leadership team, and I did put a post up on Crew, is that actually put us over collectively as an agency for a record. For my team specifically, we normally are in the 30 to 32, 35,000-ish, or 36,000 a week range consistently. Our record previously was back in October, which was 37.8 maybe-ish or so, 37 and some change. And that put us at 40,151.16 for the week, which was a record week for us. And if you were on the national call on Wednesday, you saw we were the #1 agency in all of Symmetry as a team. So could not be more excited about the momentum that this team has going right now. And for those of you new on the call, if you do the math on that, 40,000 a week times 52 weeks, that's a $2 million a year agency. And we ain't done. We're just getting going. So the momentum in such that we have in this organization is incredible. And so the other piece of that was, so that actually put Ellis, I want to make sure I don't miss this, at almost $10,000 for the week last week. I'm excited about his renewed commitment and focus in this opportunity. and blessed to be on this journey with you, brother. And then just overall, just looking at what folks on this team are doing. I mean, Miss Jenny Gray consistently out there making me look bad on the leaderboards, making me have to step up my game. I'm gonna have to lay off the recruiting stuff so I can get back in the mix. But no, seriously, awesome job there. And then the other piece of that is just the recruiting and momentum. If you see the activity on crew, you see all of these new people, and it's everybody across the board. But I want to give special recognition to my leadership and builder team that we've been working on for the last few months. There's a core group of people that we have, and you guys are absolutely crushing it. There are so many new people that are coming on this team, licensed and in training right now. I can't imagine where we're going to be at in the next 60 to 90 days, especially with the momentum of conference coming. And to that point, I wanted to make a notice that I know we'll get the final numbers for the contest that later on today posted up based on the email that came out this morning. We have to do that on what was on the email from Mike Rummage this morning through registrations last night. But that's for the contest that Chris has. But the conference is not till next Wednesday. So you have plenty of time to still register people for the actual conference. And that's what's important. And to that, I want to make special recognition. My goal collectively originally for our team was to get 100 people for our team, our agency registered for conference. Well, right now, as of the email I got just about an hour ago, my team alone has 122 people registered for that conference. And some of you are killing it. And so I want to extend a stretch goal, and I know we can do this before conference, to get 200 people for my agency and our folks collectively. So if only a little more than half of the people we already have registered bring one more person, that puts us at our number. And I know there are a lot of people that we just interviewed this week for the builder team that are new, they're coming on board that are not registered yet. And several of you have said you have people you're following up with over the weekend. So I have no doubt that we'll hit that 200 number for our group specifically, and just so proud of the overall the way this thing is starting to coalesce around all of us and everything you're doing every single day. And I just want you to know I appreciate you. I'm grateful, and we're in this thing together. And so just so excited for that. And thanks, Chris, for giving me an opportunity to kind of share that with the team today on the call.
I absolutely appreciate you both sharing, and afraid you're about to step on my call here, so got to shut you down before you get too far into this. But no,
I was just trying to tee you up, brother.
Yeah, right. No, and to John Paul's point, and I'm glad. Thanks for shout out to Ellis. And for some reason, I don't always get visibility. I think some of the numbers come up direct on yours, John Paul. For whatever reason, I don't get that. So I'm glad you brought that up. And great week, Ellis, on that accomplishment last week. So keep up the great work, and Team Better is crushing it. So guys, let's follow the lead. Let's follow these folks. So yeah, so I'm sure a lot of you with the title of the call this morning tuned in for my predictions on the end of the world. And that that was a little bit of clickbait. I'll confess, just to kind of spark some curiosity. But the end is near. And what am I talking about? Well, the end to our push for conference is in fact ending next week. However, this is probably the biggest week. And guys, I want to talk to you. For those of you who are brand new, haven't signed up yet, we're going to spend a lot of time this morning just hyping it, because you just need to be there. I mean, it's part of the training. It's part of this system. If you're already making all the money that you want to make, and you've already built the team that you want to build, if that's your interest, like I said, if you're on the sales side and you're already making all the money you want to make, and you feel like you've learned everything you need to learn, and on the agency side, you've already got your agency built, then yeah, don't attend. I mean, that's fine. But if you have a desire to grow and build in this system, and keep in mind, guys, this is a system. And it's funny, John Paul, Stella, and myself, we were on a call this week with the owners for agency owners, and they were talking about what the market is looking at of what we're doing as a company. And the fact it's catching attention, and it's always been this way, but it's flown under the radar, and a lot of people are just now starting to recognize it. out in the industry is our franchise model. And you can just say we're not a franchise, because a franchise, for those of you who are not familiar with that, who've never dealt with that, a franchise is basically just a business system. It's somebody that's went out and built a business, been very successful, and they basically package that up, into steps, the tools, the resources, the process, everything that you need to be successful, and then they sell that. So you're buying the business model, and ideally you just plug in, run, and build your business. But to do that, somebody's put a lot of time, effort, their own time and effort and resources into building it. So they're going to charge you a handsome fee to buy in that business model. So on the low end, you're talking probably, an inexpensive, low revenue franchise is anywhere from $25,000, $50,000 that you've got to put up front, plus all your business expense, startup, all et cetera. You can get into several $1 million to buy a franchise. Okay. The reason I bring that up is this is a franchise model without the franchise costs, tag, fees, overhead, etc. Meaning we have a system, we have a track to run on, and it's plugging into that. As with any business, I mean, yeah, there's a learning curve, and sometimes that there's bumps on the road, but the point is you've got a track to follow, and people who've been there and done that. And so you can overcome those challenges, those struggles, because a lot of people have been there before you. But the point is, it's something that you can plug into and run with, and not have to reinvent the wheel, not have to create those systems, not have to create those processes. And the thing about it is, the company is investing heavily in new resources, new systems that are going to streamline this even further. So that was one of the other things that came out on that call. And I can't share everything, but I will tell you, if nothing else, get on a conference just to find out what's on the horizon. When I say on the horizon, I mean as in this year, as in coming down the pipe, as in tools and resources that are going to grow our profitability. They're talking about agencies doubling profitability this year, just with, and this is just from the initiatives that they're rolling out. That's not growth, which obviously we're going to continue pushing and growing, but just from these new systems. And I wish I could get into some of the details. I don't even know them all myself, but some of the things that I'm hearing about, guys, you're in the right place at the right time. I just tell you, you look at getting involved in a company, and everybody wants to get in a company on the ground floor. I mean, anytime you talk about, what if I had gotten involved with, a Coca-Cola in the beginning, own stock in a company like that, or Ford Motor Company, or any brand name that you would easily recognize. And the thing about it, if you look at any growth curve of a company, you actually don't really want to be there right in the beginning, because that first decade, first 20 years, you can see it's a very low, slow growth. And if you talk to anybody that was there then, it was a struggle. I mean, everything was having to be created on the fly as they went along. Only the toughest made it, because they had to battle through that, just challenge after challenge after challenge. And what you want to get involved with is kind of when that curve starts that upward trend. So if you look on a graph for a new business, it's again, that first decade, maybe first 20 years, it's kind of a low, slow growth above the baseline, and then all of a sudden you see that line go up, and that's when they start hitting critical mass. That growth starts compounding until it reaches establishment, where it's a very established large company, and then it levels back off. They're plain. Anybody gets in at the top, they're basically getting there after all the growth has happened. Guys, we're at right at the very bottom of that start of that growth curve, because this company is 10 years old. And I could tell you, sitting and talking here, a couple of years ago with Marshall Whalen at breakfast one morning, just listening to him tell stories about when he started in this business. and how when he went out and met with clients, he had stacks of applications, paper applications. For those of you who are starting and the first application you're writing is on a computer and you're hitting a button, he had stacks of paper applications in his briefcase. And a lot of times they didn't have the underwriting. I mean, they had underwriting, but they didn't have the capabilities that we have. In a lot of times, you got Virtual Mentor that didn't exist. In fact, it's only a couple years old. So 10 years ago, if you had a client who you talked to, and all of a sudden they started coming out with, like John Paul says, their extra medicine cabinet that they forgot to tell you about, and it was after hours, you couldn't call an underwriter because they were closed. So what they would do is they would guess what companies they thought they would qualify for, try to guess about 5 or 6 companies, because again, it was a huge effort, especially if you were traveling and writing business, to not only write that business, but if you got turned down, then you had to go back out and get another application signed, especially if you were working out of area. That was tough. So they would have them sign 5 or 6 applications and then go back and the next day sit down and try to figure out which one would likely go through, talk with the underwriters, et cetera, and fill that out. The reason I share that story with you guys is just to impress upon you where we're at in this business. The fact that everything that we do is at a touch of a button. That application that we write, everything that we're doing right now is really very streamlined. But if you look at where we're heading, and I realize none of us can see the future, and there's a lot of things that the company is playing close to the vest in their cards. But I can tell you there's some things that are going to be coming out in conference that are going to take your business to another level, and really take it to another level without you having to invest a lot more time and energy. In fact, if anything, this is going to streamline your current time and energy that you're putting into the business. So I say all that to say, get excited about what's coming up next week, guys. I'm gonna encourage you, especially those of you, and I realize we've got a lot of folks here that are making a transition from another career, and maybe you're still working at that business. Guys, I'm gonna really challenge you to step out on faith and talk to your existing company about taking those days off, at least that time off. So it's going to be in the afternoon on Thursday and Friday. Now Thursday, I believe it was Thursday. I mean, somebody correct me if I'm on the wrong, or excuse me, Wednesday, Thursday.
Thursday morning is the breakouts.
It's breakouts. That's what I'm going to talk about. Breakout sessions. Guys, these breakout sessions, I cannot impress on you how important it is to be in those and to be live. Because you're getting training from the top level performers in the company. People who are weekly writing $10,000 or more. And you've seen, everything from phone training, if you're struggling with the phones, everything from closing, if you feel like your ratios are not there, everything from business retention and follow-up. The advanced stuff, building an agency, taking that next step. When you have an agency built, going from building an agency to becoming a high-level leader. Guys, this is the franchise. This is the franchise training. How many of you would spend $100,000 on a franchise and never go to a minute of training? It's like, I'll figure it out. Just give me the book and I'll figure it out as I go. Well, somebody might do that, but that's a very it's a very low probability of somebody actually figuring it out. So attune the training, get in, dig in, and be a part of that. So again, for those of you, again, I get it, man. You're making the transition. You got to keep the bills paid. You're working another job, either full time or part time. I'm going to really challenge you to step out on faith and take that time off. Okay, block that time off. And that goes for those of you who are working this business full time. Let's not be, putting earbuds in our phone and then just walking around the house doing your chores and running errands and this and that. And I get it. I mean, if you're running a life, or you've got a family and all this, there are going to be some times where you've got to stop and take care of things. But man, I would be doing everything I could to organize my life around this event and this training. Can't impress upon you how important that's going to be. This is a personal development company. So one of the things I wanted to highlight in talking about, for those who are here, and a lot of people are, who want to build an agency, want to build that passive income, on a quick side note, we've got 3 agency owners on this call, and we've got something like 45, 50 people watching the call right now. And somebody says, well, gosh, I don't know if there's any room for more agency owners. Right now, as a company, we've got about, I think somewhere around the neighborhood of 200 agency owners, give or take. Guys, as a company, our target has been set. What we need as a company, what we need, not what we want, this is wishing up on a star. What we need as a company to go to the level that we want to go, because you got to realize we're a small player in a big pond. But we can be a big player in a big pond. But to do that, we need 3,000 agency owners. Guys, we're at 200. So that means each and every one of you, if you have an interest in building an agency, it's going to be there for you if you're willing to step up and make it happen. Okay? So take the challenge and get on that conference with the mindset that this is part of my business training. And all 45 of you, I mean, minus the 3 that already are agency owners, all of you can be agency owners. There's room for that to happen. In fact, we have to have that to happen for this company to get where it needs to go. Because if you look at any branded franchise a company, you look at some of the traditional business models, a State Farm, Allstate, any of those companies, just look in your area, Google one of those companies and see how many agencies are in your area. And that will give you an idea of the capacity that's available for this company for growth. So realize, and I think sometimes, and nobody really comes out and says that, but I think there's this, some people will, but I think there's this mindset that, well, it's going to be hard for me to get the agents. There's so many agency owners. I mean, 200, that's a lot. As that's a drop in the bucket. I mean, it really is. And we're not exaggerating here. And that's what I really want to take time to stop and impress on you. For us to get anywhere as a company, we have to have more agency owners. And it's not going to be watered down. It's not going to be diluted. We have to have 3,000 high-performing agency owners. Because beyond that, right now, the 120 contract level, which is the top, these are massive agencies. These are agencies that have built several layers deep and have grown. We've got 120s right now. I think we're sitting around ballpark at around 25, I think, roughly, give or take. Guys, that number has to go up exponentially. And I forget the target number, but it's into the hundreds that we need top level 120 agencies. People that are earning 6 and 7 figures. You look at just the agency bonus for some of the agencies, the equity bonus. You see a Marshall Whalen that's doing about $100,000 a month just in bonus right now. That's outside of all the other agency revenue. So again, I want to make that point because this is the stepping stone next week to get to that level. It all begins right there. So,
Chris, do you mind if I chime in a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
And so to Chris's point, folks, is one as it relates to your participation and engagement in this conference. Your future success is directly proportional to your attention to what's going on in this conference. I'm going to just say it. You got to be there. Stop making excuses about what may or may not be going on. If you got vacation days or a sick day, you better cough and call your boss if you're still working somewhere. It's that important. Being there in that conference is going to cut 6 to 9 months off your learning curve. Seriously, because you're going to hear every person you're going to hear speak next week that's at that conference are all 7 and 8 figure income earners in this company, in this business, doing the same thing that you're doing. They just started before you did. So every one of them are where you're at, where I'm at, Chris is at some point in their career. Every one of them started off on a first call trying to decide if this is something they wanted to do. And because they made that decision, they're forever changed. So if you want to hear from the best people in the business, you got to be there. So I share this with folks, sometimes, what I mean by that, it's about the circles that you run in and the people that you associate yourself with. You know who smart millionaires hang out with? Billionaires. They don't hang out with other millionaires. What they need to hang out with, they're already there. Why do they need to hang out with other millionaires? Unless they're complacent, and usually people that are at that level of success are not. They are constantly wanting to get to the next level. Trust me, there's levels in life with this stuff. And it's all directly proportional to your self-discipline and focus. So that's key. You got to be at the conference. Everybody that you think needs an opportunity to be at that conference and glued to your screen, to every word, with a brand new notepad and a pack of pens. Because you're going to hear something that's going to spark your spirit and call to you and change everything about, you're already excited about this opportunity, but you're going to hear and see things at that conference that's going to make you run the gambit of emotions. Everything from chills to excitement to laughter to tears. It's that serious. And if it doesn't, then I don't know what else to say to you. Maybe you're not in the right place. I don't know, right? I mean, maybe it's not for everybody. But if you're serious about wanting to change everything for you and your family, be there. The other piece that Chris mentioned about, as far as the number of agency owners and people that we need. In order for us, there are so many other things that we as a company have on our radar of things we want to be able to do and expand other options and offerings within our portfolio. In order to do some of these things, we have to have troops in the trenches, period, and leaders, right? And so I was on a meeting with Chris and other agency owners with the founders and the chief strategy officer. I mean, this guy's sharp as a razor blade. I mean, if you guys saw some of the stuff that's going on behind the scenes with the course and direction with this company from a leadership perspective, I've been in the corporate world for a long time before I came here, and these people are as good as it gets. Symmetry has invested a ton of money in these people to bring them into the fold. So the point I'm making is that in order for us, Symmetry, to be able to capture 1% of the business opportunity that the insurance industry is in the United States of America. This is a multi-trillion-dollar-a-year business. Understand that. In order for us to capture 1% of it, we have to have 12,500 agency owners. We've got 200 now. So do you think we need more people to keep chopping wood and make agency owner and climb their way to the ladder? We're nowhere near. We haven't even scratched the surface of this opportunity. There's things we can't do because we don't have the manpower yet. There are companies that want us to take on specific initiatives that'll be exclusive to Symmetry, that they want us to be able to have at least 100,000 agents across the nation. We got about 3,500. And to Chris's point about the 120s that are equity partners, there's about 25. We need hundreds of equity partners in order for us to get to that 1% level. And I don't mean 200, deep hundreds, 6, 7, 800, 120 equity partners. Some of you on this call are going to be in that fold and will have a 7 or even 8 figure income at some point over the course of the next several years. But you got to make a decision. It's with what you do today after you get off this call and what you do with this conference and sharing this with other folks. And then more importantly, it's what you do every single day to make that a reality for yourself, because you've been tossed the keys here. No one's going to stop you from being successful except yourself. But that's some people's problem. They can't get out of their own way. But I know that the people on this call are focused and dedicated and disciplined and see the opportunity. You wouldn't be here. But we're all on this journey together. So I said all that to say, make sure you're at conference, glued to the screen. It's that important. It's that impactful to you and everybody that you bring to that call. and know that this opportunity, you guys are just getting here at the right time. We have so many things that we have available to us right now that other people, to Chris's point, had to cut their teeth on and to go through growing pains. That's all you missed, was the lumps and bumps of growing pains. You have so many vehicles and tools and resources available to you right now. Plug in and make everybody else get out of your way, including yourself, on this journey. And this will be anything you want it to be. So Chris, I appreciate the couple of minutes there, and I'll get off my soapbox. I apologize.
That's great. And to your point, John Paul, I mean, the call that we had this week was mind blowing, and we can't even share everything with you. I can just tell you on a high level. So the company last year rolled out, year before rolled out, time flies. We had, our equity appreciation rights, which is profit sharing, for lack of a better term. I mean, it's basically the company giving away about 20% of the company to the people that help build it. And when they rolled that out here a couple of years ago, they did so with some projections. This is where we see us going in the next 3 to 5 years. Where we want to go. Here's where we want to go. The thing about that is, right now we're outperforming all those projections. And if you think about, given where we were last year, the entire world was last year dealing with with the challenges of 2020, and we're ahead of pace. So that gives you some idea. Basically, that means all the numbers that they were projecting from a growth and profit sharing and all those things, I just tell you, that's all higher. They basically told us those numbers have all gone up. And, so my point with that is, when you attend next week, make sure that you're getting as many people there with you as possible. And a little quick tip here, because somebody brought this up. I can't remember if it was on the agency owner call or the national call, but I thought it was an excellent point, because sometimes you're like, you invite somebody to attend an event and they say, well, what's it about? Well, it's an insurance conference. Oh, yeah, no, sorry, no thanks, not interested. Guys, we sell it short by calling it an insurance conference, because that's not really what it's about. Again, we are a self-development company that happens to sell insurance. So when you're going out this week, so how much can be done in this last 5, 6 days? Guys, a lot. And when you're going out and talking to people about attending this, and I'd be picking up the phone, calling people. Hey, I just want to touch base with you. I'd like to invite you to a special online meeting next week. Matthew McConaughey is going to be the keynote speaker, but it's really about a personal development conference. It's all about growing and becoming a better version of yourself. Guys, that's the way to present it. I mean, yes, there's going to be a lot of insurance specific training, more so in the breakout. So if you want to steer somebody more towards the main sessions, I get it. That's probably smart. If somebody's not in the business and they're not indicating they really have an interest in getting in the business right now, that's fine. Still get them to that conference. Encourage them. Hey, you're going to pick up some great life skills, some great life concepts. Guys, everybody that goes to conference walks away. We've had people, spouses, we've had family members of agents and agency owners and friends come to these events just to come and hang out in whatever city we were in, and just be there and just be part of the festivities. And they've walked away. I mean, I can tell you, just almost to a person, they walk away with just their mind blown at how much they've picked up, not being in the business. And again, even though they came, they still may not have an interest in joining the business, but they still took away value. So as you're making this final push, number one, how do we do it? Guys, make phone calls. No more of this little, text, please come to my meeting, email, that stuff gets ignored. A voice to voice. Hey, I really want to invite you to come to this event. It's free. we've got a great keynote speaker. You're going to pick up a lot. Whether or not you have an interest in the business, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. You're going to get value out of this business. And hey, by the way, bring somebody with you. Get some friends and family involved. You know, just have, you know, everybody that you're inviting, tell them, bring somebody with you, or invite somebody. I obviously bring in air quotes, because nobody's going anywhere. That's the beauty of this. We're sitting there, we're watching it on a big screen. And that's the other thing. They encourage everybody, try to figure out a way to get it on your TV or on a screen where you can watch it and get the impact. Because guys, this is not going to be like what we're doing right now, a Zoom call where it's, you know, all of us staring at a bunch of faces. This is a production value. I mean, the production value on this, I can tell you from talking with people that were there behind the scenes, is off the charts. This is a professionally produced event. Okay. So you won't be embarrassed by bringing anybody to this. In fact, if anything, you are doing them a huge favor to bring them to this event. So, so guys, that's, you know, I didn't have a lot to share. We're gonna wrap up a little bit early this morning, but just wanted to really encourage you guys, you know, this last few days, make the most of it. If you want to get better personally, if you want to grow a business, especially if you want to grow a business, it is critical. Now's the time that you pick up the phone. Between now and then, set yourself a goal, make 10 calls a day, whatever that is. Find people to talk to and invite them. And again, the nice thing about this is we now have something that we can invite somebody to that doesn't have to be about insurance. We're happy if they show up just to learn something and grow personally, because I guarantee you they will. They'll walk away impacted. And that's really something that you can do for your friends and family and acquaintances. That's something that you can give them that's going to have great impact on their life. If they join the business, that's perfect. I mean, we love that, but they don't have to. You know, in reality, I don't know if that's really even what it's about. I think it's more about just getting people there and letting them share in that, you know, in that growth and mindset. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Stella, John Paul, do you guys have anything you need to wrap up for your? All right.
Just one last thing, just for everybody. To Chris's point he just made, I think there are a lot of times new people come to this opportunity and you think that, well, I don't know all the answers. I don't know everything yet. So I'm not sure if I want to tell other people about it, because if they ask questions, I won't know how to answer it just yet. That's what you have us for. And that's what you have the conference for. You're going to have people that have been here for 6, 8, 10 years that have reached the highest pinnacle of this opportunity, and they're going to be sharing all the answers to everything these people need to hear. So it's about plugging into the system, just like the weekly conference calls, the national call, the training calls. Other people in Symmetry are providing that cohesive environment and that learning culture to teach everybody that plugs in and listens. And that's, again, the unique thing about who we are as a company. So make sure you invite people, because I can tell you this, there are going to be some folks on here who are going to exhaust every option that you have in reaching out to people to let them know about this, right? And there are going to be some of you, they're going to invite some people, but maybe not others. And I guarantee you, mark my words, and you don't have to answer to anybody but yourself. I guarantee you at some point during that conference, they're going to say something. You're going to hear something from somebody on stage, and you're going to have a feeling in your spirit and in your heart, man, I should have invited so-and-so. Man, they needed to hear that. If they could have just been here. Don't be in that situation. Don't have any regret about not inviting somebody because you didn't think that bring them. Let the system and let Symmetry do everything else, and then let them pose the questions to you afterwards if they're interested, and let the rest of us as mentors in your respective groups do the rest of the heavy lifting. That's what we're here for, okay?
Hey, Chris, also, I just wanted to say thank you, John Paul, for that wonderful reminder in the beginning of, of your teams, of recruiting. And because there's not on the leaderboards that shows, for Eva and Terry, all the people that they've been bringing on. These girls are just working furiously, and I'm so proud of them. And my team knows how proud I am of them because I tell them all the time. But I just like to bring it out here because it's just, you know, everybody is working so hard, and sometimes you can't see those results because they're behind the scenes. But I'm just so proud of them, and I'm so proud of, you know, all the people that stepped up. And Jordan, so proud of you for writing your first piece of business this last week. It's so amazing. So anyways, I just wanted to really, really mention that because we are a true team effort. And let's not let John Paul beat us in the, you know, signups for.
Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna
I'm
happen.
just saying. That's all. Seriously, I just love you guys. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's we'll get leaderboards out a little bit later, guys. We just got our list right before the call for sign up, so we'll make sure we get those updated, get those posted, and our contest, our official contest for conference invitees has ended. However, the main contest for your future, for your business, still goes on until the very last day before conference. So make sure you block that time off, take the time off, don't schedule appointments, you know, cram your appointments in before Monday, Tuesday, load that up. And then on the back end, but make sure you block those days off in you're in attendance. So, all right, gang, we're going to wrap it up, get running here so we can finish up the week and get ready for next week and the big event. So appreciate all of you jumping on. Let's go out. Let's make it happen.